The book Rain Architecture examines 30 different buildings across 3 categories: rural architecture, monuments from the Safavi and Qajar periods, and work from the first Pahlavi era. And here, as shown in this diagram, the architectural content in each chapter is organized into 3 main sections: the building history, representations, and architectural analysis. The book begins with the simplest and the most symbolic type of building, the rural house in eastern Gilan. In the historical section, reference is also made to the historical background of the village and to the construction methods of these houses in the past. And here in this section, a visual representation, the display of the sketching process provides an educational and motivating approach for architecture students, encouraging them to establish a closer connection with the spaces through freehand drawing. Finally, here, through the use of watercolor, the spatial qualities of the architectural works and its surrounding environment are presented in an artistic manner. In the architectural analysis section, the building facade is studied in several stages. First, as a linear structure, then with the emphasis on shadows and the display of solid and void spaces, and finally with the consideration of the background space and the skyline. On this page, the geometry present in the facade and the visual relationship among the building's elements are examined. In this section, the relationship between the building and its surrounding environment is also discussed. Finally, the architectural details of the building, including the roof edge ornamentation and the method of the connection of the galvanized metal sheets, are enlarged and highlighted. And here, another village, Kishtarre. This village is located in foothill region and has been associated with many events of the jungle movement. The climate of this area differs from that of lowland village. For that reason, the ground floor has been enclosed with walls, and the opening have been designed on a smaller scale. And here, the educational process of sketching, including the final sketch here on watercolor, rendering of the building and its surrounding environment can be observed. In the architectural analysis section, attention is given to the study of the linear structures, solid and void spaces, skyline, and shadows present in the facade. And here, on this page, the proportions and formal rhythm present in the facade are examined. In this page, the architectural analysis of this project include the study of vertical and horizontal axes, the process of the facade's geometric formation, and attention to elevation levels and the ground line. In addition, the arrangement of the functions and ground floor and grid structure of the talar. Talar is a wooden veranda on first floor in vernacular house of Gilan. So structure of the talar on the upper floor are among the other issues considered in this section. And here we have Mosul village. An example of window details in the village of Mosul can be seen here, illustrating a type of wooden lattice work. Tomb of Sheikh Zahid Gilani. The tomb of Sheikh Zahid Gilani, located in Lahijan, is perhaps one of the most unique and unparalleled examples of conical dome in Iran and even in the world. This conical dome, combined with the sloping tiled roofs, is a valuable masterpiece of the Safavid period. Apart from the educational sketching process, in the architectural analysis section, one clearly observed the building's diverse visual qualities in its linear structures and facades, which emphasizes solid and void spaces as well as shadows. The complexity of skyline is clearly evident in the facade, and the presence of highly varied shadow, which acquire different expressions throughout the day, adds the visual richness of the building. Here we have plan, and here the elevation. This is the plan of dome, of this dome. As for the facade proportions, there is a meaningful relationship between the dome plan and the facade proportions. The width of the dome here. The width of the dome facade is equal to the width of its plan, and the overall height of the building is considered to be twice the width of the dome plan. Furthermore, in subsequent geometric analysis by drawing the diagonals or the extensions, the significant points of the facade align with the main centers of proportion, such as points O1, C1, D1. They are very important points in this geometry of a facade. And in this analysis, as well as the three squares here, 1, 2, 3, three squares, and triangles U, V, and W. U, V, W, this triangle, form an orderly geometric structures in this facade. And here too, can observe the overall facade proportion and the key geometric points in correspondence with the significant point of the facade composition. G1, C, V, S, T. On this page, as well, the division based on squares explain the geometric structure of the conical dome. With these squares. And in this section, concerning the building's relationship with the background, reference is made to the placement of the building on the mountain slope and its overlooking of the plain. It also discusses how the horizontal line appears as a strong horizontal axis in the building's composition. Finally, the tile patterns of the dome throughout the combination of turquoise and yellow tiles create the overall chromatic identity of the dome. And here on this page, study of the formal similarities between the minarets of Gilan Mosque and church steeples. They're very similar. Divani Mansion. Divani Mansion was one of the grand and old buildings of Rasht, in which the intersection of the architecture of Iran's central plateau and northern Iran could be clearly seen. The mansion burned down years ago, no longer exists today. One of the notable features of this building was the particular pattern of opening in the facade, a pattern that can also be found in some other aristocratic and old houses in the city of Rasht. There were 3 openings on the floor, 5 on the first floor and 7 on the second floor, indicating that the mass of the building was reduced on the upper level. The linear structure that we can see here in this page, and again here the solid and void relationship in the facade, which clearly shows the rhythm of the 3, 5, and 7 openings. Here, the skyline shadows and axes of the building in this facade. The facade proportions consisting of 1 main square in the center and 2 squares on either side, while 2 staircases on both sides define the overall composition of the facade. Here we can observe modular ratios in the openings and the distance between them, the proportion of the facades. And in this section of building, a hierarchy of elevation codes appears in a stepped manner in the building and the courtyard wall. Here you can clearly see this hierarchy of section. The details of the opening have been extracted from an old black and white photograph of low quality. And especially in this house, a house located beside the river with an opening on the ground floor that does not exist yet. That allows direct access to the boats and creating a water connection with the entire city and the sea. And here, Mirza Khalil's house. This building is the house of Rasht's first mayor. Its architectural pattern was inspired by imported architecture and had entered Gilan through Russia. The building's original owner had brought prefabricated wooden parts and the architectural plans from Russia to Rasht. Among the prominent features of this building are the double-sided staircase. Here you can see it has double-side staircase. Here in this image you can see it's better. A small veranda, full high opening, and finally the reflecting pool front of the building. The linear structures, solid and void spaces, shadows, and skyline in the facade. In this part, the modular proportions of the facade are visible, and this part, the active axis of the facade can also be observed. The surfaces of the facade are formed through different layers and levels. Here you can see the reflection of the facade in the pool and the visual effect resulting from it are noteworthy. Rain water is directed from the roof through a suspended downspout into the courtyard pool. Here, it's come down in this pool. And this neoclassical building here A part of neoclassical facade of the Jelve building express a tendency toward order's symmetry and the use of classical elements in the composition of the facade. And the details of the roof. And another neoclassical building in the name of Shopper School. The proportion of facade. And analysis of the facade of Shopur School, one of the buildings with an imported pattern during the First Pahlavi era. The relationship of the main entrance inscription with historical Iranian symbols, considering the presence of German engineers, the role of the Fruhar, the symbol of German Nazi Party, and the element present in the entrance pediment. Here you can see this Fruhar symbol and the Germany Nazi Party, and here that element that exists in the entrance. I think there is a relationship between these items.